Hi there, my name is Sheridan Masters and I'm the Digital Learning Coordinator here at Geraldong International School, and this video is going to help you set up your iPad fresh out of the box, so do the first initial setup. So the first thing you'll see is this slidey button at the bottom with lots of different languages on it. So once you've powered it up, and the first thing you'll be asked to do is define which language you'd like to use. So in most user cases it's going to be English. You just press this little, click on the language you want and then press the little blue button at the top right hand corner. And then it'll show you countries or regions. So it automatically assumes you're in the US, which we obviously aren't. And then if you scroll down, you'll be able to see Brunei in the centre here. Okay, so click on Brunei, and then you can press next again in the top right hand corner. Now, I would wholeheartedly recommend that you set up your new iPad in a Wi-Fi hotspot or in a Wi-Fi zone. It does make the setup a lot easier, meaning that you won't have to do a lot of the setup later on. You can do it all in one go. So I'm just going to pause this while I enter my password, and I've entered my password there. So I'll just press join, and what it'll do then, it'll connect your Wi-Fi, and then it will begin the setup process. So you'll get a little tick, and then you can press next again in the top right hand corner. So then it'll ask you, it talks about activating your iPad. Again, a lot of the iPads that we're talking about won't have SIMs in them. They are just, they're designed to be non-3G devices, so working off Wi-Fi, so you can press continue there. Now location services, you can enable location services so that your tracking and any maps software you have works. But for this instance, I'm going to disable location services because I prefer to turn that on or off depending on what situation I'm in and how much power I want to use. Okay, so now also what we're going to assume is that we're setting up a new iPad for the school use. So we're not going to restore from an iCloud or an iTunes backup. But again, if you're replacing or you're changing iPads among your family, then this might be something you'd like to consider. So we're going to be setting up as a new iPad in this instance. And again, press next in the top right hand corner. So signing in with an Apple ID. At this point, what we're doing is creating a free Apple ID. So the idea being that this will be your parental ID. Now this is the one that you'll need to register with a credit card. Elsewhere on this website you'll see videos that will help you set up a free student, as in there's no payment details into it, a free student Apple ID, which will allow you to browse the App Store and only install free apps. The one we're going to be doing in this installation is actually a parental ID, which will then be used to access apps. So birthday, you can put in something a little bit older, I prefer. And then we'll press next. Again, this is just a dummy at this point. So we can enter a few details here. So we have those details entered there, and we'll press next. And then the idea is we can use a current email address. Now again, this will be a parental email address, and you'll need this to access the App Store, and you'll also need this to be able to verify this email address, so you can use the App Store and the iPad itself. So I will use my current email address, and then I'll add that in there. Okay, so we now have an email in there for our Apple ID, and you'll need to use this email to verify the account. Now again, this can be any mail server, it can be a Yahoo or a Hotmail account, and it's the account of the parent who's responsible again for this iPad, who will enter credit card details and things like that at some point. So if we press next then, so we'll have to add in a password, so we can do that now. Okay, so we've added our password. A note on password, again, as it says here, includes a number, an uppercase letter and a lowercase letter. So if you haven't got all those things then it will bounce you. Okay, so then we have a few security questions. So these are fairly easy to set up. You just pick whatever the security question is and then you can enter your response. I'm just going to arbitrarily pick a few of these. And okay, and and these again can be used to retrieve your account in the instance that it's not a problem. Then also what you have an opportunity to do is add a rescue email address. So the idea being that if you lose the ability to use that first email address, then this is there as a backup. And then it's up to you whether you choose to have email updates or not. Okay, so while that configures, what we can then do is have a look through the terms and conditions. Again, what I would do is recommend reading through this. It's about 33 pages long. We're not interested in sending it by email necessarily, and you'll see the agree button is now in the bottom right hand corner of this mail. So then it also confirms and asks you to agree again. So it's now creating this Apple ID, and again, this won't be verified until you receive an email from the account that you've set it up on, and then you'll have to click the link to verify this email. We'll talk about iCloud maybe in another video, so at the moment you don't need to set that up. And then it's up to you whether you send diagnostics and usage information to Apple or not. And at the moment, I'm not going to register with Apple at this point. Okay, so now it's saying that we're ready to use the iPad and our setup's done. Okay, and so this is your standard stock screen. And again, the first thing you'll want to do is actually make sure that your App Store is working correctly. You'll notice that, again, you haven't had to put any credit card information in at this point. The credit card and the payment information only needs to be entered in the event that you make that first payment. So if there's a paid app that we've asked to be put on as a result of the school software list, then that payment will be necessary when you're paying by a card. However, at this point, you don't have to enter any of that detail into the iPad at the moment. And again, if you have a look and refer to the other video that's next to this one regarding setting up a student account, you'll be able to do that fairly easily. Okay, great.